Why put meadows in an urban environment? Well, where do we start and where do we stop? I mean, the benefits are huge. If you think about the biodiversity benefits, for example, just behind us here, this is buzzing with butterflies and with bees of all types. And there'll be lots of things living in there, and of course we have the seed heads coming later on with birds feeding off those. The seed heads stand up over the winter, a lot of shelter for overwintering invertebrates. So huge biodiversity benefits. But I think in particular in an urban environment it is all about people. You know, we're in a housing area, in the middle of a housing area here, and to have the most beautiful and vibrant wildflower meadow in the middle of all of this, you know, that must be great for people to see that and to have that around them. And of course that leads us to all the mental health and well-being effects. But I think there's something really special as well about having children around and kids playing around in this, running through it. It's a sort of experience that maybe 50 or 100 years ago, you know, our grandparents and former generations had this as part of growing up. This is the way we can bring it back into our cities for future generations. I think as well, you know, if you think about what the alternative to this is, of just mown grass or really low diversity planting, then this is going to have a lot of other environmental benefits. It's going to really soak up rainwater in flash floods and storms. But there are also lots of benefits in terms of climate change. So carbon sequestration is going to be far more effective in this diverse planting, and the open and more diverse soil biology that's in there than in more sterile urban landscapes. And of course there's an energy thing as well in terms of saving carbon, in that unlike mown grass, which is cut once every 2 weeks slavishly now, and with climate change that period is extending to almost right the way through the year, this is just cut back once, so we're saving huge amounts of energy in creating meadows in cities. But having meadows in the same place into the long term really generates a legacy. You're building up populations of invertebrates, pollinators, but also many other things that feed off the plants. And then if you create several of these sorts of meadows as part of the matrix or the mix, then populations can start to move around, and you're really building up functional populations of a lot of insects, let's say, that are really quite scarce and rare in cities. So that's a biodiversity legacy, I think. Of course, when you create these sorts of things as opposed to short mown grass, you're also building up soil microbiology and the ecology of soils, and that has important implications for carbon sequestration into the future.